Good morning, students. In the previous class, we have seen up to the completion of Williamson synthesis and in what way Williamson synthesis will be useful to prepare ethers, all those things and applications of Williamson synthesis also we have seen. In today's class, we will go through continuation of these ether topics only, in which chemical properties of ethers. We have only one chemical property under ether, that is reaction with HX. We have only one chemical property under ether, that is reaction with HX, in which when ether reacts with HX, but here we will consider excess of HX. X is nothing but halogen and this is ROR, which is ether, in which when ROR is going to react with HX, between hydrogen and X, which is more electronegative, that will be getting negative charge and H will be getting positive charge. Between ROR, whether left side or right side, any side, carbon-oxygen bond is going to be cleaved. Suppose let us consider this RO bond is going to be cleaved, in which we will get out of R and O, which is more electronegative, oxygen is more electronegative, so it is getting negative charge and R is getting positive charge. Then this R plus and X minus will be combined to form Rx plus RO minus and H plus will be combined to form ROH. This is called haloalkane and this is alcohol. But we are using excess of HX now. In presence of excess of HX, this ROH, alcohol, which is formed, again it is going to react with one more mole of HX, because we have used excess of HX now. When we have used limited amount of HX, only it will be stopped up to first reaction only. First reaction is formation of Rx and ROH. Is it okay? Now, when we take excess of HX, then this formed ROH will be again combined with excess amount, some extra amount of HX to form. While it is going to be undergoing reaction, this is nothing but X will be getting negative charge and hydrogen is getting positive charge. Next, between ROH, the bond will be cleaved in a way that here the bond will be cleaved. Then we are getting R plus and O minus, OH minus. Then this R plus and X minus will be reacted to form Rx plus OH minus and H plus will be reacted to form H2O. So finally, overall reaction. If you want to write this overall reaction, then ROR is going to react with how many moles of HX? 2 moles of HX, because this is in excess of HX. That's why we took 2 moles of HX. ROR plus 2 moles of HX. This ROH is there now. This ROH and this ROH will be same only, so it will be cancelled in writing the overall reaction. In writing the overall reaction, this is present on right side and this is present on left side. While we are adding these two reactions, left side and right side will be cancelled. Then we will get 2 moles of Rx. 2 moles of Rx plus H2O. 2 moles of Rx plus H2O. So this is called overall reaction. When ether reacts with excess of HX. When ether reacts with excess of HX, we will get 2 moles of alkyl halide and 1 mole of water. If we use limited amount of HX, it will be stopped with only first reaction, formation of RX and ROH. This is about reaction of ether with HX. Okay, that X might be any halogen, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine also, no problem. Okay, now particularly we will take reaction with HI. That means that X we are going to take it as iodine, because HI bond can be cleaved easily and it will undergo reaction easily. That's why we are going to take particularly reaction of ether with HI. Let us see that one by taking examples. Is it okay, ma? And this is called oral reaction. Now we will see the examples by considering reaction with HI. So let us consider reaction with HI. When we go through reaction with HI, let us consider with any one example ether, that is CH3O C2H5, unsymmetrical ether CH3O C2H5 reacts with HI, in which here when unsymmetrical ether is undergoing HI, it is very important point. We have to remember that the alkyl group which has less number of carbons, the alkyl group which has less number of carbons will be bonded with iodine. The alkyl group with less number of carbons will be bonded with iodine, and remaining one is formed as alcohol. Then the substance which is going to be formed as CH3I gives rise to CH3I plus remaining C2H5OH plus C2H5OH. This is fixed. Let us consider one more example. CH3, CH2, O, CH2, CH2, CH3. O, CH2, CH2, CH3. Okay, if this undergoes reaction with HI, then this is also unsymmetrical ether only, in which out of these two alkyl groups, which alkyl group has less number of carbons? That is this one, ethyl group. That ethyl group will react with iodine. That ethyl group will react with iodine to form CH3, CH2I plus remaining substance CH3, CH2, CH2OH will be formed as propanol. CH3, CH2, CH2OH. In this way, we have to identify what is the major product formed when an ether is going to react with HI. So, when an ether is going to react with HI, if it is symmetrical, unsymmetrical ether, out of two alkyl groups, one alkyl group has definitely less number of carbons. That alkyl group with less number of carbons will be bonded with iodine. That alkyl group with less number of carbons will be bonded with iodine. And other carbon chain with oxygen is going to be reacted to form as alcohol. This is with limited amount of HI only. Okay, so they will ask in questions also with limited amount of HI only majorly. Okay, and they will give this type of question and what are the products to be formed. If you change that one, immediately C2H5I plus CH3OH if you write, it is wrong. That's why we have to be very careful when it is undergoing reaction with HI. When it is symmetrical ether, any alkyl group can be bonded with iodine to be formed as iodide. That is not a problem there. But the problem is coming with unsymmetrical ethers only. That is about this concept, and continuation we will see, and one more application is there, very important, that one we will consider now. Now let us consider one example ether, that is CH3C, CH3, CH3, OCH3 is going to react with HI. Okay, in which what are the substances to be formed? If you are going to write this one, previous one is both are straight chains. Left side alkyl group and right side alkyl group both are straight chains. In that condition, we will consider the alkyl group with less number of carbons to be bonded with iodine. So that is not a problem. But coming to here, this side we have CH3, that is with less number of carbons. This is tertiary alkyl group with more number of carbons, but that is not straight chain. So in this condition, this one which is forming more stable carbocation, which one is forming more stable carbocation, it is going to be bonded with iodine. Previous, what is the thing I told, that is implemented for only straight chain. When we have straight chain alkyl groups left side and right side, in that which alkyl group contains less number of carbons, that is bonded with iodine, that is keep aside. Now coming to branched chain. If you have branched chain and normal chain, the branched chain will form more stable carbocation when compared to normal chain. That's why that more stable carbocation is bonded with iodine, and remaining substance is going to be bonded with hydrogen to be formed as alcohol. So our total thing, this is concentration on which is formed as alcohol and which is formed as alkyl iodide. Okay, now let us see the products now. This is going to be reacted with iodine, then we will get CH3, 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 iodine plus remaining substance CH3OH, CH3OH. In this way, we have to understand what are the products to be formed when an ether is going to be reacted with HI. It is very important, and it might be asked in questions also. No? Directly they won't ask. They will give very typical example, and when it reacts with a typical example of ether, when it reacts with HI, what are the substances we can expect? So everywhere, if straight chain carbons are present on left side and right side, we have to remember only one thing: the alkyl group with less number of carbons will be bonded with iodine. But when branched chains are getting increased, one side we have branched chain compound, another side we have straight chain compound. Okay, then in that condition, that highly branched carbon will be formed as more stable carbocation. That's why it will be reacted with I- to be formed as iodide. When we have two branched chains, we have to see that which one will be formed as tertiary and which is formed as secondary. Out of secondary and tertiary, which is more stable, that's tertiary carbon atom will be bonded with iodine to be formed as iodide. In this way we can recognize and what are the products formed, what is the alkyl iodide and what is the alcohol to be formed in reaction of ether with HI. Is it clear now? By this reaction with HI, it is completed. Now we will go through next concept. That is, when anisole undergoes reaction, anisole undergoes reaction with HI. Okay, remember carefully, anisole contains the C6H5O CH3. Okay, now this bond and this bond, out of this one, oxygen which is involved in direct bond with benzene, it won't be cleaved easily because lone pairs of electrons present on oxygen will be involved in resonance with that bond, it will get partial double bond character. It will get partial double bond character. When it gets partial double bond character, that bond cannot be cleaved easily. As well as this carbon which is present here is sp2 hybridized carbon. sp2 hybridized carbon will hold the oxygen very tightly when compared to this carbon which undergoes sp3 hybridized carbon. This carbon is sp3 hybridized carbon, and this carbon which is involved in benzene ring, that is sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay, sp2 hybridized carbon has high S character. When S character is increased, bond strength also increases because of increasing penetration power. Okay, so this bond will be very strong when compared to this bond. So when aromatic ethers, if they undergo reaction with HI, there is no chance of cleavage of aromatic carbon oxygen bond, no chance. Only this bond is getting cleaved. Then we will get CH3 plus and this is O minus. Then here H plus and I minus. Then these two are reacted in which this O minus and H plus will be formed as phenol. Phenol plus CH3 plus and I minus will be combined to form CH3I. In this way, any sort of ether, we can solve that one when it undergoes reaction with HI. Okay, ma? These are the applications of reaction with HI. This is chemical property. By this, chemical properties of ethers are completed. Now started with the nomenclature of ethers. Next, classification of ethers. After that, preparations of ethers. We have two preparations of ethers. Those are, one is Williamson synthesis and another one is intermolecular hydrogen bond dehydration. Intermolecular dehydration of alcohols. Okay, in yesterday's class we have seen these things. No? After that Williamson synthesis completion, we are going through chemical properties. We have one chemical property, that is reaction with HI. And after that reaction with HX. We have taken one example, various examples when they react with HI. Okay, what are the products we are going to get? When we take unsymmetrical ether, when that unsymmetrical ether reacts with HI, then what will be happen? In that which alkyl group has less number of carbons, that one will react with iodine to be formed as alkyl iodide. Other one is formed as alcohol. Then coming to another type of unsymmetrical ether, one side it is contained by branched chain carbon and another side it is contained by straight chain carbon. In that condition, branched chain carbon is formed as more stable carbocation. That's why it will be reacted with iodine, and other substance is going to be reacted with H plus to be formed as alcohol. Okay, ma? Next, coming to this one. When we have aromatic ethers, C6H5OCH3, then the bond present between aromatic carbon and oxygen will not be cleaved because that is getting partial double bond character, as well as carbon which is involved in benzene ring will undergo sp2 hybridization. Because of all these things, this bond cannot be cleaved easily. Then this bond only it will be going to be cleaved. According to that, O minus will react with H plus to form phenol, and CH3 will react with I minus to be formed as CH3. Are you clear now? This is about reactions of ethers, and we have next thing, that is physical properties. Okay, ma'am? We will see that one. After completion of the reactions of ethers with HI, our next concept is physical properties. Ma'am. Coming under physical properties of ethers, we will discuss two main physical properties. Those are, one is melting point and boiling point, and another one is solubility. Okay, now coming to the melting point and boiling point explanation. Between ether molecule and ether molecule, there is present with dipole-dipole attractions, because even though ether molecule has high electronegative atom oxygen, but other condition for formation of hydrogen bond, that is hydrogens must be bonded to high electronegative atom. So what are the conditions for the formation of hydrogen bond? Those are, we have to, that molecule should contain high electronegative atom like oxygen, fluorine, nitrogen, and hydrogen must be bonded to high electronegative atom like oxygen, fluorine and nitrogen. Okay, one of those conditions, that is, even though ether is contained by high electronegative atom oxygen, but hydrogens present in ether are not bonded to oxygen, fluorine or nitrogen. That's why between ether molecule and ether molecule there is no chance of formation of hydrogen bond. There is a chance of intermolecular attraction, that is dipole-dipole force. Dipole-dipole forces are weaker than hydrogen bond. Because of this, ethers have low melting and boiling points when compared to alcohols of almost same molecular weight. So ethers and alcohols with almost comparable molecular mass, if you take, okay, ethers have low melting and boiling points because they cannot form hydrogen bonds, but in alcohols they can form hydrogen bonds because they have two conditions: high electronegative atom as well as hydrogen is bonded to high electronegative atom. Okay, intermolecular hydrogen bond is formed between one alcohol molecule and another alcohol molecule. No? There is no problem there. There is a chance of formation of hydrogen bond. That is the first discussion, that is melting and boiling points. Next, coming on to solubility. When ether is added to water, ether has high electronegative atom oxygen, which gets partial negative charge. Hydrogen will get partial positive charge, which is present in water. In water, we have hydrogen bonded to high electronegative atom oxygen. Okay, so there is a chance of formation of hydrogen bond present between ether and water. That's why ethers can be soluble in water. But top to bottom, when we go through higher ether groups, in which they contain higher alkyl groups, there this non-polarity dominates the polarity. Because of that, there is a chance of decreasing formation of hydrogen bond, and solubility of ethers in water also will be decreased top to bottom. But lower ethers can be soluble in water. This is the reason in which ethers can form hydrogen bond with water and they are soluble in water. These are the two main physical properties of ethers which were discussed. Is it okay, ma'am? By this, we completed these physical properties of ethers. Next, we can go through some commercially important alcohols. Those are methanol and ethanol. Commercially means in our day-to-day life, how these alcohols are going to be important in our day-to-day life. We know only one sort, that is ethanol will be used for drinking purposes, like that it will be. But that is only 1% disadvantage. Major amount of alcohol will be used as a solvent in chemical industries. It is highly useful in preparing the medicines also. That's why those are useful only. Even methanol also. Okay, now started with methanol. Methanol is a substance with molecular formula CH3OH. General name is methyl alcohol. Which is called as wood spirit. Because this is obtained by the dry distillation of wood, that's why this is called wood spirit. Other name of this methanol is called wood spirit. Okay, now what is the nature of this methanol? This methanol is a poisonous liquid in which contamination of this one will be causing blindness, and severe contamination will be leading to death of the person also. So it is very hazardous in nature. It is very harmful to our human beings. Okay, ma? Now coming to this preparation of methanol. Coming under preparation of methanol, It is prepared by the catalytic hydrogenation of. Hydrogenation means providing hydrogen molecule. Okay, that is acting of hydrogen molecule and another substance is called hydrogenation. In presence of catalyst, that is catalytic hydrogenation, ZnO plus Cr2O3 at a high pressure, 200 to 300 atmospheres. 200 to 300 atmospheres. Okay, these are the conditions. At the same time, 573 to 673 Kelvin. Okay, these are the conditions to undergo this reaction. Catalytic hydrogenation of CO, carbon monoxide. Catalytic hydrogenation of CO will be formed as CH3OH, balancing two hydrogen molecules, 2 2s 4. Okay, now CO plus 2H2 in presence of ZnO plus Cr2O3, that is a catalyst, at 200 to 300 atmospheres and 573 to 673 Kelvin, we will get methanol. Okay, already we discussed what are the properties of methanol also. Okay, next, denaturation of alcohol, that is in ethanol we will see more. Okay, now let us go through next commercially important alcohol, that is ethanol. Molecular formula of ethanol is C2H5OH and common name is ethyl alcohol, in which it is also called as 100%, 1 minute more, 100% alcohol. 100% alcohol is called absolute alcohol. 100% alcohol is called absolute alcohol. 96% alcohol is called rectified spirit. 96% alcohol is called rectified spirit. We have in our laboratories also spirit lamp. That spirit lamp contains alcohol as a solvent, and we have a wick. Actually, these are most easily evaporatable liquids. Easily they will catch fire. So through that wick, it will be getting, by using surface tension property, it will come to the tip of the wick and it will be getting fire. Okay, and this is about 100% alcohol is called absolute alcohol and 96% alcohol is called rectified spirit. And what about this ethanol? We know ethanol is manufactured from fermentation of molasses. Fermentation of molasses. That molasses is the substance which is waste from sugar industry. Molasses is the substance which is a waste from sugar industry. That molasses contains almost 40 to 50% sugar, but we cannot extract the sugar from that molasses. Maximum extent we extracted and the remaining substance, that is waste substance only, which is called molasses. But that is also contained by some amount of sugar only. From that sugar we will obtain this alcohol. So how we are going to prepare that alcohol, we will see now. This is industrial manufacturing of alcohol. Preparation. Molasses contain the substance that is sucrose. Sucrose formula C12H22O11 will undergo hydrolysis in presence of an enzyme called invertase. In presence of an enzyme called invertase, we will get C6H12O6, which is glucose, and C6H12O6, which is fructose. Glucose and fructose, they have same molecular formula, but those are isomers. They have different functional groups. That one will be discussed deeply in biomolecules. Okay, now C12H22O11 will undergo hydrolysis In presence of invertase enzyme, we will get glucose and fructose. Next step, this glucose will undergo reaction in presence of enzyme, that is gymase. Reaction in presence of gymase to form C2H5OH plus CO2. To form C2H5OH plus CO2. What is the byproduct now? That is CO2. This is also one of the important compounds related to us. That's why it will not be removed, means it will not be wasted. Even it is also saved and it is used for our other purposes. CO2 is also used from this industry. From this sugar industry and from this alcohol industry, no product is getting wasted. Even from sugar industry, what is the waste substance? That is molasses. From that molasses, we are going to prepare this alcohol, and byproduct, that is CO2. That CO2 is also stored in cylinders. Okay, and what are the uses of CO2? We know already. In this way, in 2 steps, alcohol will be manufactured. Okay, from sucrose only. Now, what is the theory part regarding this one? This process is called fermentation of molasses. Okay, first, molasses will be mixed with certain amount of yeast, ammonium salts, like that, and it will be closed in a tank, and it will be kept for 1 week, like that. Then those yeast, by taking that food, that is ammonium salts, it will generate enzymes. Those enzymes are nothing but biocatalysts. These enzymes are nothing but biocatalysts, microorganisms. Those are nothing but biocatalysts. What are the enzymes produced by yeast? Those are invertase and gymase. In presence of this invertase and gymase, sucrose is getting converted to alcohol. Okay, now what is going to be happen? The grapes will be crushed. Okay, while the grapes are getting crushed, actually that outer layer of the grape is getting developed by yeast. Inside it is getting that liquid. Liquid is getting, that is another part now. I am saying that preparation of wine also. Okay, now inner part of that liquid, that is grape liquid, is contained by sucrose. Both are now getting in contact, in which sucrose is going to react with water in presence of these enzymes. The yeast will provide these enzymes. In this way, this alcohol is going to be generated. This is industrial preparation of alcohol. Okay, now what are the disadvantages of alcohol we know, but advantages of alcohol also we have. It is used as one of the major solvents in medical industry. Okay, now next concept is nothing but denaturation of alcohol. What is meant by denaturation? To avoid the misuse of this alcohol, the alcohol is mixed with copper sulfate for getting color, and little amount of pyridine is also added. Addition of these 2 substances to alcohol is called denaturation. This is happened because to avoid the misuse of alcohol for drinking purposes. Okay, when these 2 are added, this pyridine structure is this one, and this is like little bit poisonous in nature. That's why by knowing that, at least it will not be misused. Okay, the CuSO4 for getting the color only it is used. Addition of the CuSO4 and pyridine to the normal alcohol is called, to avoid the misuse of the alcohol, is called denaturation of alcohol. This is one of the important one more questions in your CBSE part. Is it okay, ma'am? This is about some commercial important alcohols. Those are 2-methanol and ethanol. Methanol preparation and properties we have seen, as well as ethanol preparation and what are the advantages, as well as what about denaturation of alcohol we have seen. Correctly, by this full chapter, that is alcohols, phenols and ethers, completed, ma'am. After completion of this, we have to go through these in-text questions and even examples, as well as book-based questions also. Daily 1 or 2 questions, 2 or 3 questions along with preparation time I will give homework for you. Any doubts if you have, I will clarify through WhatsApp. Okay, ma? But immediately by next class, we will go through the new chapter. Okay, ma? All of you, thank you all. By this, we completed this Alcohols, Phenols and Ethers chapter. Thank you.